Your phone alarm goes off and you reach for your pills, but now you need water. And of course, the water's in the car and you're in the middle of Costco, or you're at dinner, or church, or a movie, or a conversation where for 5 beautiful minutes you were pretending Parkinson's wasn't running the meeting. And just like that, your whole life stops for one tiny pill. That's the Parkinson's medication clock. And if you live with it, you know it's not just a reminder, it's a schedule, it's a negotiation. It's a tiny boss supervisor in your pocket that does not care if you're busy, tired, embarrassed, hungry, stiff, anxious, or standing in aisle 7 wondering why your water bottle is still in the car. Well, today we're talking about the medication clock and why it can feel like Parkinson's is running your whole day. And make sure you stay tuned to the end because I'm going to share one thing that I personally use every single day to manage it. It's simple, it's not expensive, and it does not require a spreadsheet, a medical degree, or a tiny pharmacist living in your hoodie pocket. But it helps me stop guessing. And with Parkinson's, anything that helps you stop guessing is worth talking about.
Welcome to Living with Parkinson's. The good, the bad, and the reality. Real talk, real life, real community with Bryce Perry. Let's begin.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to the broadcast. I am so excited you're here. And if you're new here, my name is Bryce, and I was diagnosed with Parkinson's at the age of 40, and I've been living with it now for over 15 years. And after last week's Who Knew episode, one thing became very clear in the comments. People were interested in the science, people were fascinated by the breakthroughs, and yes, people had a lot to say about the earwax thing because apparently Parkinson's research has officially entered the let's check absolutely everywhere era. But the part that really hit people was the idea of the freedom from the medication clock. The idea that maybe someday there could be a steadier way to deliver medication. Maybe fewer alarms, maybe fewer food calculations, maybe fewer moments where the whole day gets interrupted by a pill bottle that somehow has more authority than you do. And that is why I wanted to talk about this today. Because before we talk about the future, we need to talk about what people are living with right now. That's the medication clock. And if your medication schedule feels exhausting, frustrating, confusing, or like a full-time job that you didn't apply for, you're not failing, you're not being dramatic, and you're not bad at Parkinson's, which I guess is good because nobody would really want to be good at Parkinson's, I don't think, right? No, thank you. The medication clock is hard because it is hard. So anyway, let's get right into the first thing. The first thing people do not always understand is that Parkinson's medication is not as simple as take the pill and move on. That sounds lovely, doesn't it? It sounds almost peaceful. It sounds like something written by someone whose dopamine still answers emails. But with Parkinson's, the pill is only one part of the story. There's the timing. There's the food. There's protein. There's wearing off. There's waiting for it to kick in. There's wondering if it kicked in, but your body somehow forgot to let you know. And there's the moment where you stare at that pill bottle and you think, did I take you already? And then the scarier thought, what if I take it again and I already took it? Well, that little game is what I call Parkinson's roulette, and nobody has to play that game. And for many of us, the day is not divided into morning, afternoon, and evening anymore. It's divided into 1 dose, 2 dose, dose 3, dose 4, dose 5. And then that bedtime mystery round. Every dose comes with questions. When did I take it? Can I eat yet? Did I eat too close to it? Why am I stiff already? Why am I suddenly anxious? Is it wearing off? Is it stress? Is this fatigue? Is my dopamine on a smoke break? And somehow you're expected to keep living your day like you're not internally running a NASA launch sequence every few hours. And that is why the medication clock is not just about pills. It's about mental load. It's about having part of your brain watching the clock. And with Parkinson's, that's exhausting. But that's real life. And I'm talking about real life because real life with Parkinson's can feel like a circus. Except probably the clown car is full of pill bottles and nobody remembered the water. Now, the second thing that medication clock steals is spontaneity. Before Parkinson's, you could just go. You could go to the store. You could meet someone for coffee. You could sit through a movie. You could eat when everybody else ate. What a concept. Very vintage. But with Parkinson's, everything has a calculation attached to it. What time is it? When's my next dose? Do I have water? Can I eat there? Will there be protein? Am I going to wear off halfway through? Will my timer go off in public? Will I drop the pill? And if I drop the pill, will it roll under the table like it's trying to escape the disease too? Because that happens. You know what? And when a pill hits the floor, it never lands somewhere normal. It goes usually under the fridge or under the car seat or under the restaurant table, or maybe even to that dark corner of the room where you now have to decide whether it's your dignity or dopamine matters more. Spoiler alert, dopamine wins every time. And that's the hard part to explain. It's not taking medication, it's the interruptions. It is the Parkinson's tapping you on the shoulder every few hours saying, "Excuse me, I know you're trying to enjoy your life, but I have a schedule to keep." And the schedule's bossy. So I want to ask you something. Does the medication clock run your day? Drop the word clock into the comments if your life feels like it's being managed by timers, alarms, pill cases, and food timing. And seriously, stay with me until the end because I am going to share the one thing that I use every single day that helps me stop guessing what my body's doing. Now, let's talk about a few things that help. Okay, not miracle fixes, not do these 4 things and Parkinson's becomes a polite house guest. Parkinson's does not do polite. Parkinson's shows up uninvited, eats your snacks, rearranges your nervous system, and then asks why you're tired. But these small things can make the medication clock a little less chaotic. The first one is having a leaving the house kit. Nothing complicated. A small pill container, some water, maybe a snack, if that works for your routine, maybe a written schedule or a note in your phone, and maybe a backup medication if your doctor's told you it's appropriate. The goal is not to carry your entire pharmacy around like you're opening a mobile drugstore. The goal is to avoid that awful moment where the timer goes off and your pills are at home, or your water's nowhere, and you're just standing in aisle 7 staring at paper towels like they personally betrayed you. A small kit gives you breathing room. And with Parkinson's, breathing room matters because stress and Parkinson's are terrible best friends. They show up together and they make everything worse. All right, the second thing is using timers or reminders, but not expecting the timer to do all the thinking for you. Because if you're like me, sometimes it's just a basic timer on your phone, right? It goes off, it makes noise, and that's it. It doesn't say, "Hello, Bryce, this is your 11:45 dose. Please take your medication with water and maybe do not wander into the kitchen and accidentally eat half of a sandwich first." It just screams. Very helpful, very subtle. Very tiny robot having a breakdown in my pocket. So the trick is not setting the timer. The trick is knowing what that timer means before it goes off. For me, that means having my medication routine already clear. What dose is this? Where are my pills? Do I have water? Am I close to food? Do I need to pay attention to how I feel after? Because the timer is only the noise. The system is what actually helps you. Some people can use labeled alarms, right? Or reminder apps, and it's great if it works for you. But if you're just using a simple timer, then make the rest of it easy. Keep your pills in the same place all the time. Use the same routine. Have your water nearby. Write the schedule down if you need to. Take a quick note after something feels off because the timer should not be the whole plan. The timer is just the doorbell. You still need to know who's coming over. And with Parkinson's, if I do not build a system around that timer, I end up standing there thinking, why is my alarm going off? I think I already took it. Or am I supposed to eat now? What am I supposed to do here? Is this a medication timer or did I put my laundry in 3 hours ago? Nobody knows. So whether you use a timer, an alarm, a reminder app, a watch, a pill box, whatever you use, or Carmen yelling from the other room, "Did you take your meds?" The point is the same. Make the reminder as easy to understand as possible because future you might be tired, foggy, stiff, or holding a banana for no reason at all. Help future you out. All right, the third thing is having a public sentence ready. Taking medication in public can feel awkward. Maybe people are looking. Maybe they're not. That most people are probably thinking about themselves, their phone, their coffee, or whether they left the stove on. But it can still feel uncomfortable. So have one simple sentence ready. You see someone looking at you, just look over and say, "I have Parkinson's, and I have to take my medications on a strict schedule. That's what I'm doing over here." You do not owe anybody a TED Talk. You do not need to explain dopamine pathways while your pill is still melting in your hand. You do not need to say, "Well, technically, the basal gland, you don't do that." Simple sentence. Take the pill and move on. Because your health does not need permission from the room. And honestly, with Parkinson's, we already apologize for too much. Sorry I'm slow. Sorry I'm stiff. Sorry I forgot. Sorry I need a minute. Sorry I have to sit down. Sorry I have to take my meds. At some point, even our apologies need a nap. So maybe we stop apologizing for taking care of ourselves. How about we start doing that? All right, fourth thing. It's planning around reality, not perfection. And this one's really important. Medication timing can make us feel like we need to be perfect. Perfect schedule, perfect food timing, perfect protein timing, perfect reminders, routine, perfect little Parkinson's robot. No. Real life is messy. Sometimes lunch is late. Sometimes you eat too close to your dose. Sometimes the timer goes off while you're in the middle of something. And sometimes the medication does not kick in the way you expected it. And sometimes the day looks like your perfect plan and says, that's adorable. The goal is not perfection. The goal is patterns. Perfection says, I messed up. Patterns say, what keeps happening here? Perfection beats you up. Patterns teach you something. And with Parkinson's, we need less guilt and more clues. Now hold on to that because it connects directly to the one thing that I personally use every single day. And we're getting there. Don't wander off on me now. I can see you reaching for the remote. Don't do it. Put it down. Okay, now before I give you that daily hack, I want to pause for just a second. If this topic matters to you, hit the like button, please. Not for me, but for the person sitting at home right now, thinking that they're the only one whose day is being bossed around by a pill timer. And when you hit like, YouTube is more likely to show this video to somebody else who needs it. Somebody newly diagnosed, somebody frustrated, somebody scared, somebody who thinks that they're failing because they cannot get the timing perfect. So hit it for them. As a matter of fact, you're probably here. You probably found me because somebody else hit like on another video and then it found you. And in the comments, tell me this. What's the hardest part of your medication clock for you? Is it the timers? Is it food timing? Is it wearing off? Remembering doses? Taking pills in public? Drop it below because I know this community is going to have a lot to say on this one. Okay, now let's talk about that weekly delivery breakthrough that hit so hard in Who Knew episode. It was not because the injections sound fun. I have never looked at a needle and thought that looks like a relaxing Tuesday. But the idea of a steadier medication delivery is powerful because so many of us are tired of the peaks and valleys, the offs and ons, the waiting, the wearing off, the food rules, the timers, the daily negotiations with our nervous system. A treatment can work and still be exhausting. A medication can help and still take over your day. A schedule can be necessary and still feel like a ball and chain. That's why this medication clock deserves its own conversation, because this is not a small detail. This is daily life. And this is whether you go out, travel, eat with the family, sit through church, go shopping, or leave the house without feeling like your pill timer came along as an uninvited guest. And let me tell you, the pill timer is not even a fun guest. It doesn't bring snacks, it interrupts constantly, and somehow it always thinks it's the most important person in the room, always wanting attention. All right, now it's time for Carmen's Care Partner Corner, and here's what my wife Carmen wrote for me to read to you today. The medication clock does not just affect people with Parkinson's. It affects the care partners too. We notice the timing. We notice when things start to wear off. We notice when a dose is late, and we notice when the meals might interfere. And sometimes that puts care partners in a really difficult position because we don't want to nag. We don't want to sound bossy. We do not want the whole relationship to become reminders, questions, and schedules. But we'd really want to help. So when we say, do you need to take your medication? Or should we bring water? It's not because we're trying to control everything. It's because we care. The medication clock can create stress on both sides. The person with Parkinson's may feel watched. The care partner may feel responsible. And both people may feel, and usually feel, tired. So talk about it when things are calm. Ask what kind of reminder feels helpful and what kind feels irritating. Because love doesn't always sound like a perfect sentence. Sometimes love sounds like, did you pack your pills? Good ending there. Thank you, Carmen. And that's so important because, care partners may not be swallowing the pills, but they're often living by the clock too. They're reading the room, they're watching the timing, they're adjusting the plans, they're trying to help without becoming a human version of a phone alarm. Which, let's be honest, that's not the dream, is it? Nobody gets married thinking, one day I hope to become a loving medication reminder with hair. But Parkinson's changes things. And the more we can talk about that without blaming, the better. And now quickly, to the people doing this alone, I want to say this clearly. You're not weak because you need systems. Systems are not failure. Systems are support. Use the timer. Use the pill case. Use the note, the checklist. Use the water bottle. Use whatever helps future you survive the day. Because Parkinson's has already asked enough of you. You do not need to make it harder by trying to remember everything with a brain that sometimes files important information under miscellaneous fog. And that's one of the reasons why I built the club. Not because it magically fixes the medication clock, it does not, but because nobody should have to figure this stuff out in silence. Sometimes just hearing the Me Too changes the weight of the day. The club is free to join. The link's in the description. There's no pressure, just an open door. Because if Parkinson's is going to come with a clock, at least we can stop pretending we're the only ones hearing it tick. Okay, here's the one thing I promise you that personally I use every single day. And this is the part I wanted you to stay tuned for because it's really important. I don't just track when I take medication. Okay, what I do track is what happens after I take my medication. That's the hack. It's simple, it's not glamorous. Nobody's going to make an action movie about it, but, coming this summer, one man, one pill schedule, and a notebook full of suspicious tiny handwriting that you can't read. But it helps because the timer tells me when to take the pill, but the pattern tells me whether the plan is actually working. So I pay attention to things like this. What time did I take it? How long did it take to kick in? Did I feel better? Did I stay stiff? Did I feel anxious? Did I get foggy? Did I eat too close to the dose? Did I wear off early? Was sleep bad? Was stress high? Was I doing too much? I'm not writing a novel here. I'm just sitting there by the candlelight writing, Dear Dopamine, today you disappointed me again. Although honestly, that could be therapeutic, couldn't it? I'm taking quick notes though. I took meds at 9, kicked in at 9:45, ate lunch late, stiff before dose, anxiety before dose, better after walking, wore off early, bad sleep last night, tiny notes, useful notes, because one weird day is frustrating, but 3 days with the same pattern, that's information. And information gives you better questions for your doctor. So instead of saying, I don't know, I just feel bad sometimes, you can actually say, I noticed my second dose took longer to kick in 3 times this week, especially when I ate close to it. And that's a different conversation. That gives your doctor something to work with. The medication clock tells you when, but the pattern tells you what's happening. And that's where the power is. So if you take one thing from the video today, take that. Don't just track the pill. Track the after. That is what I use every single day. And I built those trackers into the club. They're free it's free. Just use them. I built them for you. It'll find those patterns for you. Okay, so here's the big takeaway. The medication clock is real. It's exhausting. It can steal your spontaneity. It can make your day feel like it belongs to your pill bottle, but you're not powerless. You can build a small kit. You can build a system around your timer, and you can have a sentence ready. You can plan around reality instead of perfection, and you can track what happens after your medication, not just when you take it. All right, so I want to hear from you. What is your best medication clock survival hack? Tiny water bottle, pill case, reminder systems, tracking notes, some weird system only you understand, but somehow it works. Whatever it is, drop in the comments because your little hack might be someone else's sanity saver. And if this video helped you, please share it with one person who lives by the pill timer. They will know exactly why you sent it. And if you're not subscribed yet, I'd love to have you here. The channel is all about living with Parkinson's honestly. Not perfectly, not clinically, and not pretending everything is fine while our phone timer screams from our pocket like a tiny medical rooster. Real life, real talk, real community. All right, well, you made it this far. Here is your Bryce-ism of the episode. You ready for it? Here you go. With Parkinson's, the pill timer may run the day, but the pattern is where the truth hides. Because apparently, even my dopamine needs a performance review. There you go. Until next time, you keep showing up, you keep laughing, and you keep doing life today. I love you so much, and I'll see you on the next episode.